No, thank you. I came here to...
Caught in, oh it's red. Brilliant by Salah, he's taken it all on. Another big save from Alisson Becker. Salah's ball in and the header from McAllister is wondrous. Jones and scores. Nunez, Salah, goal. Liverpool are forward in numbers here. Diogo Jota, Salah. Luis Diaz, what a goal. Oh, there's a touch and a half. Gakpo. Lovely turn. Jota! Incredible! Okay. Oh, yes! Oh, yes, Cody Gakpo!
The sprint to the finish line is here. Just 9 games to go. Yes, 9 massive games to decide who'll lift the Premier League trophy at the end of the season. The first comes this evening as we welcome our neighbours from across Stanley Park as they make the final journey from Goodison to Anfield. It is Liverpool versus Everton, the 246th Merseyside derby. We've got all the build-up right here on LFC TV and live audio commentary from 8 o'clock. Yeah, good evening. Welcome along to Anfield and to Matchday Live. Phil Thompson and John Barnes are my guests for this huge Merseyside derby tonight. Plenty to come from the boys over the course of the next hour or so. First, though, let us set the scene in the Premier League going in to this clash here on Merseyside. This match is part of a full card of fixtures in the Premier League taking place this midweek, and they began last night with 3 games. The one that was of particular interest to us came at the Emirates. Arsenal were 2-1 winners against Fulham. There are 5 games tonight, and then the card wraps up tomorrow as Chelsea host Tottenham Hotspur. Those results last night means the table looks like this. Liverpool's gap at the top, the lead at the top, has been cut back down to 9 points. A win tonight re-extends it back to a very healthy-looking 12th. Gentlemen, good evening. Good to have you here for what is a huge game, one of, we hope, 9 particularly massive and successful games to come between now and the end of the season. Give us an idea, Tomo, where you think we are at the moment, given the recent results, given the recent gap we've just had, and what lies in front of us?
Well, I think you're always looking at the international breaks, and I think the FA Cup coming at the weekend, I think helped us, because you know with Arne, he's decided that after the international break, the South American lads are not going to play, but having those extra 3 or 4 days now has made them all available. And I would think that they would all start. We'll probably find out in a minute. But this is huge. This is absolutely huge. With Arsenal winning last night, and it's there. The PSG game, we played really well. And people have made their mind up that we played poorly that night and got beat. We didn't play well against Newcastle in all departments. And there's people who need to turn up tonight. And we need to be motivated by the occasion.
John, what's this part of a season like when it is that home straight where it's one thing and one thing only? You can see the finish line.
This is the business end of the season. You know, I've said all along, from years and years and years, you know, this is when you win the league. You can look at teams who play really well up until March, coming into April, and people get excited, or teams. And of course, when you can put together a string of results, we're fortunate that we've got a cushion of 9 points. Hopefully, it's going to go to 12 points. But I mean, the disappointing thing really, if you look at the last 2 or 3 games, was the cup matches, so you go out. Yeah, and as Phil said, we played well against Paris Saint-Germain, not in the first game, and it was a disappointing performance against Newcastle. But let's not get it carried away in terms of it all being doom and gloom. We've been the most consistent side in the Premier League throughout the season, and we've played so well. So I'm not just going to let the Newcastle game and the Paris Saint-Germain game away, not the home game, all of a sudden make me believe that the wheels have come off. So, but it's a derby. And derby matches, regardless of how well Everton are doing, how well Liverpool are doing, they're special occasions. Is it easier now that Everton are mid-table and they're not going to get relegated? Would it have been better had they been struggling at the bottom? Not necessarily. It's a complete one-off. So people are trying to read into how the derbies are going to go, depending on who's playing well and who's not. You can never do that.
How do you strike a balance, Tom, if you're Arne Slot? You want to build up that confidence and make the point that John just made, that, you know, you've been the best team in the league all season, lost just once, but also not get too comfortable with the lead you've got. Understand there's still work to do and levels to hit.
I think with what happened in the PSG game, as John alluded to, it's 2 cup games. And that just one defeat in the league tells you how consistent they are. And I think Arne will be in there. All these players are being away on international duty, which tells you something in itself. They're experienced players. So they'll have come back, they will have sat down because of what Arne said, and he's had a chat and he'll gone, boys, this is not all bad overnight. You are a very good team. You are very good players. And something needs to be put right in this derby game, and it is, no matter what, no matter how we look at it. They're massive games in their own right.
And with derby matches, as they play the game, not the occasion. If you get carried away, and I think, notwithstanding, obviously, you know, what happened a couple of years ago when they beat us, I think that Everton have not handled the occasion. I think we've handled the occasion brilliantly. It's a very hostile environment, and the players can't get caught up with what's going on with the fans, be it Liverpool fans or Everton fans. And I think Liverpool have been the calmer team over the last 3 or 4 years in handling these derbies, and I'm sure the way we play now will be the same. Not to say we're going to win, but I think we're going to put in a good performance.
Well, it has been. I think has it got the most red cards? But I'd like to think the Everton red cards outweigh it. Gerard Houllier always expressed to the players when we went into derbies, and we had a fantastic record. Didn't always go right, but it was fire in the belly and ice in the brain. And he was quite right at times. Yes, we had, I remember Igor Biscan getting sent off. I think Stevie may have done. But the majority of the time, it was always the other way round. Yeah. And you do have to be ready and play the occasion properly.
OK, well, this game comes after an international break, where the Reds on duty did well for the most part. However, there were 1 or 2 injuries picked up along the way. Have they impacted an Arne Slot selection this evening? This is the team that he's picked to face Everton tonight. Pretty similar to the team that lined up in the Carabao Cup final at Wembley. Kevin Kelleher continues in goal. It's Virgil van Dijk, Ibu Konate, Luis Diaz, Dominic Szoboszlai, Alexis McAllister, Mohamed Salah, Curtis Jones, Diogo Jota, Andy Robertson and Ryan Gravenberch. On the bench, Yaros, Endo, Nunes, Chiesa, Gakpo, Elliott, Tsimikas, McConnell and Kwanzaa. We can look, we can guess, we can try and work out who's playing where. We will work maybe on the basis, Tomo, that Curtis will play at right back from that.
Yeah.
Is that looking at those players where you think he might end up?
I would think that would have to be the case. Curtis is a very good footballer. And I think probably with that selection on us looking at it, we're going to have most of the ball. So I want good players who can accept the ball, good players who can, in that final third, deliver balls. And maybe it is. I'm obviously being a defender, John might look elsewhere, but I'm looking. Everton's, I think, where they're going to play is long balls. Free kicks from Pickford, from the halfway line, out wide, in the middle, just launching it diagonals into our box. And I thought, Gerrard will be up there. We've got a bit of height in this game. So I'm a bit disappointed in that respect. But I think Arne's looked at it and he's gone, we're going to have most of this ball. Yeah. I need good footballers on the ball. I'm not saying Gerrard's not, but it's that delivery in that final third.
You can look and if this was Jurgen's team, Kwanzaa would have played at right back. But he's completely different. You know what Arne is about. He's about having possession, controlling possession. Obviously, in transitions, you have to look at not just from long balls. Is he a right back who can defend in that position? So he's really set his stall out to say, we want to dominate possession. Depending on how adventurous Everton are going to be, yes, in terms of long balls, but are they going to push somebody to attack him? Are they going to play such an expansive game that are going to give him problems in those positions? I think he's gone out and said, Arne, we're going to dominate possession, so therefore, if we're going to lose the ball, we're going to lose it higher up the field, so Curtis is not going to get exposed. So he's really set his stall out to then say, we are from the front, from the off, we're now going to dominate possession in this game.
I think the other thing to it, John, is that he's had quite a few days to work on this. Sort of knowing that there's not going to be any Trent. And he's maybe had a look at Gerrard and gone, I probably need somebody different. And he's made some great decisions, Arne, and I think he'll have. This has not been an easy decision, and I think he's gone with it, and he's thought, we're at home, we need to dictate the play, and I am going to go. And I do think it's helped us.
Yeah. But once again, I think that's going to depend on how Everton approach the game, though, because of course, that's how we're going to play. But if Everton said, let's put a winger out there, and well, they won't because they don't know he's going to play, obviously. But it depending on how they assess that situation moving forward.
I think these young lads, they're all good players, Mark.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll get caught out. They understand the game a lot better. They get moved about from academy level.
Oh, yeah, no.
So Curtis going in there will understand what he's got to do.
And he has done it before on a couple of occasions. He has slotted at first team level and played further back.
Yeah.
I guess
but that's once again, that's in possession.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't want him playing as a right back defensively if you're playing against a team that's going to be attacking all the time. So, and that's the unknown, isn't it?
Well, listen, John.
We don't expect Everton to do that.
People have moaned about Trent not being a good defender, and we're saying about Curtis.
Yeah.
Curtis,
but we know that's not his position, though.
Exactly.
That's the thing. I mean, Trent's a right back, so.
What it does do, John, though, it sends out a message. This is a team that Arne Slot says is going to go out and we're going to play our game. We're going to dictate the style of game. One of the things that was picked up from the match at Goodison is it was the kind of game that Everton wanted, not the kind of match that we wanted.
Absolutely, yeah. But of course, had this game taken place when it should have taken place, Everton were struggling at the time. This could be a new Everton. Everton are now. But in saying that, it could be a mid-table team whereby they're not going to get relegated. So therefore, they may approach this game very differently than had this game been played 2 months ago. So once again, I know how we're going to play. I know what we're going to get from us. I think the fans know. We really don't know what we're going to get from Everton, and that's the unknown quantity.
One of the other sort of things to pick out from the team is no Ali Becker. He obviously picked up a knock on international duty. Had the concussion test protocols in the lead up to this game. Obviously hasn't, we presume, passed those tests. Covina is an excellent goalkeeper, but not having Ali for this run at this stage is a blow. We can't sort of dress it up another way. No matter how good Covina is, Ali is just that extra bracket of a goalkeeper.
And without a doubt, we've just been alluding to how they're going to play. There'll be a lot of long balls. There'll be a lot, and they foul at corner kicks. They foul in front of goalkeepers, and you want your experienced guys who can handle that happening all the time. I think we've got to be ready. Moisey will play on percentages, and Kavima's got to be ready to accept all those kind of things. He needs help in there, and I think we will come through it.
I mean, if there's a team whereby a number 2 goalkeeper coming in and I feel very comfortable, it's us. Yes, of course, Ali, fantastic, but I haven't got any issues at all about Kuvin playing in there. He's done so well every time he's played, and he's handled the pressure in every game he's played in. So I'm not worried about that situation.
The big thing we said throughout this chat is the fact that Everton will try and play a certain way, do certain things, but by Arne doing something a little bit different, it does ask different questions, David. He'll now have to think, hold on a sec, what are they trying to do? How do I counteract that? So that does then put the pressure back on the opposition a little bit.
I'm going to probably go against John a little bit.
Oh,
I do think, no, it's not niggle. John's saying that he doesn't know how Everton are going to play. They'll only know one. They are going to be committed. They are going to put their foot in. That is the way they play. That's the way Moisey wants them to play. How West Ham played. Moisey the last time. And there'll be a lot of long balls, there'll be a lot of diagonals, and they will look for any second balls. The centre-backs will come forward.
No, I agree with that. I'm not talking about how they're going to play in terms of the aggression and what they're going to do. I'm talking about are they going to be adventurous in possession by putting people forward. Let's say put somebody to play up against Curtis rather than we expect them to drop back, defend deep, and then, of course, lots of long balls. But in possession, are they going to be adventurous enough to then say, Curtis is playing in an unknown position, let's get somebody to take him on and get people in the box? That's what we don't know, and I don't think they're going to do that. I know what they're going to do, but I think that for me will help the situation.
And the point you made early on, John, is the fact that it might have been a different scenario if they'd come here desperate for the points. But Everton's recent run of results means there aren't under any pressure.
But they're going to play the same way in terms of as Phil says. But the point I'm making is that once they then see that Curtis is playing right back, are they then going to say we can get forward down the left in numbers, maybe rather than full back sitting back and the left-sided midfield player coming? Let's get at them. That's what we don't know.
Okay, well, let's take you back to mid-February now. For the neutral, the final Merseyside derby at Goodison Park certainly lived up to the hype. It was played at a frenetic pace, it was packed with tough tackles, the cards were flying, and there were a fair number of controversial moments.
One last waltz for the grand old lady, home to the blue half of Merseyside for the past 133 years, and it is absolutely rocking here tonight. Play quickly, and Beto is in. Beto has opened the scoring. They'd have wanted to guard against this in preparing for this game, and Arnold is furious. I can't stretch wide enough. Salah's ball in, and the header from McAllister is wondrous. It is a quick response, it's just what the doctor ordered. Goal number 4 of his season. Here's Soberslide. Wants to go on his own, it was a big save, and Diaz coming in. In swing at Tarkowski, pushing the back maybe. Flag is up. Diaz in the left-hand corner. It's well defended. Jones might get a second opportunity. What a wonderful clearance. Salah! It had to be. 27 for the season. Big games require the biggest of personalities, and Salah is a Premier League giant. Jota straight into the action, and he has runners as well, Jota. Soberslide on the edge. Salah is the pick. And Pickford has the save this time. Mikalenko. Liverpool felt there was a push in there. And Liverpool can't quite believe it. Everton have taken a share of the points. It ends in a share of the spoils, a point apiece from the final Merseyside derby in this famous old ground. And there's a coming together of ugly scenes near the Liverpool fans at the end. Curtis Jones is not very happy at all with what's happened down there, which will be poured over afterwards.
Yeah, a lively old end to proceedings at Goodison Park. That's one way to put it. In a word, will Decore get a little bit when he steps out tonight?
Well, listen,
not just from you, I mean from...
No. I would like to think so. If it was me, if it was John, that's not that long ago. Mind you, if it was 12, if it had been 3 years ago, I'd still be remembering it. I'd still be in the dressing room and I'd still remind people. And I know you can't come out saying revenge, things like that. But you have to remember, you have to feel it, what happened that day. And it's not going to happen again. And we're going to do something about it. We're on our home patch and we are going to make something happen.
As I mentioned earlier, John, Liverpool kind of got sucked into playing Everton's type of game at Goodison Park. There'll be a frustration about that. There'll be a frustration about the goals they conceded as well. And there'll be a determination to not make the same kind of mistakes here this evening.
Well, were there mistakes? I mean, he's got both goals are avoidable. The second one was a definite free kick, in my opinion. There's nothing that you could do about that, because if he doesn't give the foul, there's not what you can do. You have to play once again, you play the game, not the occasion. You can't get carried away with even thinking about that, because then of course you forget to play. You know, you can end up with a red card or a yellow card because what the Corey did, we want to get revenge, or of course you remember it, but you still play with calm heads. That's what you have to do. Listen, it was important for Everton. This is the last derby at Goodison Park and they didn't want to lose. So I'm not saying I'm going to forgive them in terms of what they did, but you can understand what they went through, because imagine had they lost the last derby match at Goodison Park before they would go to the new stadium. So yeah, we would have loved it. But once again, we have to play with clear heads. If there's going to be any aggression, yes, we have to be controlled, aggressive aggression, but with controlled aggression. Whereas if we don't want to get sucked into a game that Everton want to play, we want to play our own game.
And we want our players to remember the frustration, the hurt of that 98th minute Tarkowski goal going in, and channel it in the right way into tonight.
Yeah, no, John's saying that. Yeah. And it has to be like that. You know, as much as you want to compete, you have to have ice in the brain. You've got to be careful, but you have to be committed. And we weren't as committed as what Everton were that time, and that's a hard thing to say, but we need to be at it tonight. And it's like the game against Newcastle at Wembley. They were at it, yeah. We weren't. And we have to be committed right from the start. They'll be coming in. We just have to go and meet it head on.
Liverpool have averaged about just over 11 fouls per game in the Premier League so far this season. It was 20 at Goodison. That's one of the things that has to be fixed now. Can't be giving away free kicks, sloppy challenges.
Do you know what? I had a look at the stats when we were doing that game, and I couldn't believe that foul count. And it was happening, but it was happening continuous. And then Arne was like that, you know, and was throwing himself all over the place. The first free kick, he actually kicks the floor. The number of times, do you know when teams feel that from a referee? They do it all the more. And they got every advantage that there could possibly be in that game.
But a game like that is going to play. That's what Everton want. It was a scrappy game, bitty game, fouls on both sides. That's what they want. We don't want that. We have to play with clear heads. And if they're going to do that, that's fine. We can't get. Yes, as Phil's right. We have to stand up to them and be aggressive. But we have to play our game, which is about possession, control possession. Curtis in that right back position. Give him lots of the ball. Let him be creative. Yes, challenge when it's there to be done. But let's not get caught up in a scrap.
Liverpool were penalised for a foul every 59.7 seconds
Wow.
that Everton were in possession of the ball, which kind of just shows how big a factor that was in that first match. How easy is it or difficult is it to ensure that doesn't happen, though, if the opposition is of mind to try and make it happen? How do you try and keep playing forward, keep the ball moving?
I'll put you in the mind of a player. When I was with Gerard Houllier, there was a game that we played, and Jamie Carragher, I'm looking at Carragher, was a committed player. And I was like that, and I went, Carragher, what's happening? Get your foot in there. He said, Tomo, he said, I'm frightened. He said, I just need to breathe on them, and they're falling over. And I thought, fair, it was a good answer.
Yeah.
Because for me, why don't you just keep on doing it? But you do it and you feel like you're giving fouls away for nothing. You end up not tackling. And I think the number of things, listen, Michael Oliver, for whatever, I thought that was one of his poorest games for our top official. And hopefully, I don't know who the referee is today, but hopefully he'll be a little bit better.
And if we dominate the ball more than we did at Goodison Park, then there was no need for us to be giving all those fouls away if we have possession most of the time. And I think that's probably behind his thinking in playing Curtis in that position. Just to dominate possession, which means that we're going to frustrate them. Yes, if we have to challenge, we have to challenge. But if we can dominate possession, we won't have the issue whereby they get the ball, we get the ball, we fight them, they fight them, which was what the game was like at Goodison Park.
Yeah, possession could be key for Liverpool here this season. You do think that? OK, we'll come kick off. Steve Hunter will be guiding you through proceedings here at Anfield. There can only be one man to join you on commentary this evening, Steve.
Yes, it has to be, doesn't it? Can you guess? It's Aldo, the great man, is back from his travels. I know he was at the Shankly show at the Royal Court last night and raving about it. So apparently that's absolutely incredible, that show, by the way. But it's Derby Day, Derby Night, whatever you want to call it on Merseyside. And for me, I'm sure you'll all agree with me that this is the big game, isn't it? This and the Manchester United game, despite what Manchester City fans might say. These are the games. This is it. This is the derby. Anfield's filling up nicely. And, you know, throughout the years, I've had the pleasure and the absolute privilege, of course, of seeing some incredible derby games here at Anfield. And I've picked up my top three, I told our producer tonight. So enjoy these goals as we talk through it. So my first one, I've gone for the Israeli international. Made such a big impression the last time we won the league title with fans at Anfield. Ronnie Rosenthal, remember him? It was a bad season back in 1993, but we played Everton and Stuart Barlow up front for Everton missed about 3 or 4 one-on-ones. He really did. And then right at the end of the game, Ian Rush set up Ronnie Rosenthal. He fired past Neville Southall. Anfield absolutely erupted. The next one I've gone for, Stevie G's hat-trick against Everton, of course, under Sir Kenny Dalglish in his second spell as manager. Appropriately at the Kop end, he got the treble, set up by his great mate, of course, Luis Suarez. And last but certainly not least, I've got to go for it, haven't I? Divock Origi, 96th minute winner against Everton when Jordan Pickford couldn't keep out Van Dijk's cross come shot really, and Divock Origi, the rest is history. Jurgen celebrating on the pitch, incredible. Now, by the way, a couple of quick things for you, Mark, you can ask the guys. One for Tomo. In 2001, the treble season, we had an academy product playing at right back. Steven Gerrard was the best player on the pitch, so replicating maybe what Curtis is doing tonight. And John Barnes, can John remember the diving header Anfield Road end from a Barry Venison cross in a derby win? Great days. Mark, it's all yours.
Have they not got the footage?
Was it that long ago? Was it in black and white?
Yeah, Tomo's goals I could understand, not for yours though. Do you remember that one?
I thought it was a side foot volley when Venice crossed it. I don't think it was a diving header.
Did you score a header?
Yeah, I've scored lots of headers. Yeah, lots of headers. Scored a header against Everton, but I think when Barry Venison crossed it, it was a left foot volley, that one. I don't think it was a diving header.
Steve's adamant. He's sticking to his guns. He says it's a header, but I don't want to argue with yourself since you scored it. Favourite goals, though, in the bigger picture of this fixture, which ones stand out for you? We saw a few there that are good picks by Steve. The Origi one is really hard to argue against, given the timing, the way it happened.
Well, any one of Rush's goals, he's got about 20 odd, hasn't he? So, no.
Oh, I've got one. Gary McAllister. Just so late in the game, we're down to 10 men, and it's nice to see Gregory Vignal here in the Legends game. He won the free kick, and it was about 45 yards out, and Gary took it forward 10. And it was just amazing. It was so late on. The celebrations, they talk about their celebration with Tarkovsky. That one was just quite sensational.
And that was just the catalyst for everything else that came.
It was for everything that came after it.
Yeah, great memories in this fixture. Can more be made here tonight? OK, it's time to bid farewell to our viewers on social media, but our Matchday Live build-up will continue on LFC TV after the break. If you want to subscribe, you can find out details of how to sign up online at liverpoolfc.com/watch if you'd like to join us. Coming up in the rest of our pre-match show, Arne Slot's on the way, and we'll hear from the Standard Chartered Player of the Month, Alison Becker, as well. Just before kick-off at 8, Stephen Aldo will guide you through all the action with our live audio commentary service. And then, after full-time, we'll be back down pitchside to analyse all the action. That post-match show will also be available to listen to in the reaction a little bit later on the club's official podcast platform, and you can watch the full game on LFC TV from midnight tonight. And don't forget to look out for Inside Anfield as well. That'll be on Facebook and YouTube at some point on Friday. Part one of our build-up is in the bag after the break. We'll hear from Arne Slot and focus on the side the Reds will be taking on here at Anfield. A deep dive on David Moyes' Everton lineup comes next.